In the Bible, Esau gave up his birthright for some stew, or some would say soup. You know, that deepens the concept of everything in life coming with a price. Good thing Jesus loved me enough and loved you enough to pay that price for our bag of bones. See, I don't believe in coincidence. Everything happens because it's supposed to. So strap in while we go on the trip. And as you watch these clips, think about it. If we out here paying for air and water, don't you think these people paid a heavy cost to get where they are? You be the judge.
He was, after all, Big Irv Favre's son. Never more so than on a Monday in Oakland in 2003, the night after his father died.
When they call out the offense tonight at Oakland, I got a standing ovation from the fans. That doesn't happen.
So under tremendous emotional duress, Brett Favre goes to work.
And we was all sitting down, and I got the call from my mom.
I just told him that Rod had been shot.
I got that call, and I said he was gone.
I just told him that Rod had been shot.
I got that call, and I said he was gone.
Come on, Arizona, come here. We got a brother, pain. Pain, guys. We got a brother having pain. Oh, we our brother's keeper? Oh, we our brother's keeper? We got people that's down. We got captains that's down. All we got is each other. Hey, family on three. We our brother's keeper, now family on three. 1, 2, 3, bam.
Odell, and tonight the Ravens organization, of course, mourns the loss of Kevin Jones, the younger brother of wide receiver Torrey Smith, who is playing tonight. More on that. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, Al, Tevin was killed in a motorcycle accident in northeastern Virginia just after midnight this morning.
I want to just thank all y'all for y'all support, man. This new territory for me, man.
We love you, baby. We got you. We're your brothers, baby.
You already know it, man.
Got 60 brothers in here, baby.
It's new territory for me dealing with, a loss like this, man. And, if it wasn't for y'all, I don't think I would have even been here today.
You can imagine the emotion that the two of them have shared.
I just want to tell my dad that I love him. I miss you, dog.
My grandma always say you never really question the man upstairs on the decision he makes, because he never makes mistakes. But I don't see how Christmas supposed to go already, especially when you're on the right path.
Warrick Dunn is in his 12th season as a star running back in the NFL.
Warrick just passed me on the all-time rushing list, so.
But if you would have still been playing, I have a long way to go.
But for Warrick, success on the field has always been overshadowed by personal tragedy. In 1993, when Warrick was just 18, his mom, Betty Smothers, was shot and killed. She was a police officer, working a second job as a security guard.
Struggle with my mom passed away. And all this is for her, when she passed away, I was all down. And then I got my brothers right behind me.
Knowing how hard they worked to help get me here.
He has always known the NFL was his dream, but one member of his family was unable to witness those dreams becoming reality.
My mom passed away when I was, early in high school.
I was the last one to talk to her. She pulled me and she like, Quentin, like, you're gonna be the one who take care of everybody. You're gonna be the one who like make sure everybody's straight, and I need you to do that. 10 seconds later, you just hear beep.
Marquisha died on August 10th, 2010.
And I'm Pat Harvey. A tragic twist to the rise and fall of a former football player from Reseda.
Devon Hall was the pride of his family, and now he's accused of murdering his mother with his bare hands.
So what went wrong? CBS 2's Amy Johnson is live at the LAX courthouse with the story you'll see only on 2. Amy.
Pat, this family says that they are heartbroken, that they have lost 2 loved ones. One was killed, and they say they lost the other through mental illness.
But I do want to recognize one guy. Des Bryant lost his dad last night, and I don't know if you guys watched that play today, but he was off the charts. Bring it on in here, Doug.
Break it down, man.
Got you, baby. Family, baby.
Hey, thank y'all, man. Thank y'all for being my family, man. For real, man. I love every last one of y'all, man. Let's keep fighting, man. Let's never stop.
He'd walk into the room and he'd just light up. Whatever was going on, he just had this way, this strength, unlike I've ever seen. Unlike I've ever seen in my life. It's such a tragedy. It's so hard to understand.
Is Chris Smith, a defensive tackle for the Cleveland Browns. Smith and his girlfriend were driving on a highway in Ohio when his Lamborghini blew a tire and crashed into the median. Smith and his girlfriend, Tatara Cordero, got out of the car. Moments later, she was hit by an oncoming car and killed.
Goodwin is gone!
An NFL star catches a thrilling 83-yard touchdown bomb, then says a prayer as he falls to his knees. Now we're learning the heartbreaking reason Marquise Goodwin of the San Francisco 49ers was so overcome with emotion. Unfortunately, we lost our baby boy due to some complications and had to prematurely deliver him early this morning around 4 a.m.
8-year-old son of NFL star Adrian Peterson has been killed, the victim of alleged child abuse today. Police report that the mother's boyfriend has been arrested and charged with battery of an infant. Peterson himself tweeted shortly after news broke of his son's death, "Thank you to my family, my fans, and fans of other teams for their support."
Now, I can sit here and run these deaths all day, but hopefully y'all get the point by now. So we're going to focus on a more recent one. The death of 5 people in a plane crash headed to LSU Oklahoma game. One of those 5 being the daughter-in-law of the offensive coordinator of the LSU football team. The man's name is Eric Ensminger. Now, as we watch these clips, we're going to dissect it. And remember, everything comes with a price. More times than not, the side offering up the body or sacrifice usually gets the win. Remember in Game of Thrones, Stannis Baratheon sacrificed his daughter before war to ensure that they got the win? They repeating the customs of the days of old, y'all, right in our face. Give up the body, blood, sacrifice to ensure that you win the war.
The plane went down in Lafayette, about an hour west of Baton Rouge. David Begnos starting us off from the crash site.
Omar, everyone on board the plane was headed to the LSU game in Atlanta. In fact, one of the people who died in the plane crash, Carly McCord, her father-in-law is Steve Ensminger. He is the offensive coordinator for LSU, and there are pictures of players consoling him before the game started. Carly McCord was a sports reporter in New Orleans, did work for a local TV station and the New Orleans Saints. The other passengers who died in the crash have been identified as Ian Biggs, the pilot, Vaughn Chris II, Gretchen Vincent, and her son Michael Walker Vincent. Let me tell you what eyewitnesses told us. The plane had just taken off from the Lafayette airport, was only a mile away, and the pilot clipped that power line right there. The plane went down in the parking lot of that post office, actually hit a lady who was in her vehicle. The vehicle caught fire, seriously injuring the lady. and the fuselage continued into a field. This is eyewitness video that was recorded by Alexis West, who told us what she saw.
It just skidded on the concrete at the post office, and then it just went by, and then all of a sudden just this big explosion. It was just like an action movie. It just like happened so fast.
Miss West actually saw the sole survivor walking away from the aircraft. Listen.
Somebody grabbed him from the fire and pulled him out and sat him in the ground. He was burnt from his shoulder all the way down, like his shirt, his clothing, everything was ripped.
The man she's talking about is Wade Burzas. Tonight he's at a local hospital listed in critical condition. It was not raining at the time the crash happened.
It was not raining at the time the crash happened.
Now check this out. It was said that 5 people died on the plane, right? And guess what? LSU won by 5 touchdowns. Oh yeah.
John Emery. Final score, LSU 63, Oklahoma 28.
Now, Sam, you're learning more about why Carly was on that plane this evening. What do we know?
Yeah, Peter, Carly knew Gretchen, Walker's mom, through their mutual love of LSU. She was planning on driving to Atlanta, but was offered a seat on that plane and accepted.
She was planning on driving to Atlanta, but was offered a seat on that plane and accepted. She was planning on...
Based out of Lafayette. According to the flight plan, the plane took off at about 9:20 this morning and was scheduled to land at DeKalb Peachtree Airport, just outside Atlanta 2 hours later. According to flight tracker data, the plane crashed less than a minute after takeoff. The flight plan also says the plane last flew on December 18th, going from Houston to Lafayette.
So what you saying is, the same plane flew over 200 miles just about 2 weeks ago, but as soon as LSU start playing their football game, the plane can't even go over a mile without exploding?
Well, it says a lot about it. I mean, it says a lot about him as a man and how much he values his football team and football in general. You know, none of the players knew. We didn't know until after the game.
And there are pictures of players consoling him before the game started.
You know, none of the players knew. We didn't know until after the game.
And there are pictures of players consoling him before the game started.
You know, it just says a lot about him that, you know, he was, before the game, Coach O came up to him and he was like, we're going to get through this. You know, you couldn't see no emotions on his face. You couldn't even tell looking at him.
You know, you couldn't see no emotion on his face. You couldn't even tell looking at him.
I told Coach Ensminger, our thoughts and our prayers out to him. There's not much we can say. Obviously, Steve and his wife and his family are very distraught. But, you know, Steve's a Tiger. He's a man. And he knows how to handle things.
Do you think he'll coach in this game today, Coach?
There's no question.
The growing concern about the dangers of high school football. In the first 7 weeks of this season, there have been 7 deaths related to high school football. That compares to 11 all of last season. ABC's Gio Benitez has a story from Fordham University's football field. Good morning, Gio.
Colosseum, arena of blood and sand. Here, superstar gladiators would fight to the death in the ultimate action-adventure. The largest amphitheater in the classical world, it stands as a monument to Roman engineering genius. But it was much more. A powerful tool for controlling the masses, and a showcase for proclaiming Rome's domination of the world.
When freezing temperatures like this move in, Atlanta's homeless population living out on the streets has a much more difficult time.
Yeah, that's why a number of shelters are opening their doors tonight, providing emergency overflow beds. But there are fewer options to get warm than there used to be, meaning that many are still in the cold.
Angelique?
It is unknown just how many people are sleeping on the streets of Atlanta tonight. So many of them have looked me in my eyes and said they have absolutely nowhere to go.
So here I am at rock bottom, and I don't have no family here or nothing. So I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Kiana Lowe has nowhere to go. The 45-year-old says she has been sleeping on the streets since she was fired at her Burger King job just last week. As the temperatures plummet, her fate becomes more uncertain.
If we out here paying for air and water, don't you think these people paid a heavy cost to get where they are?